Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Jane, for bringing that to everyone's attention and doing all the research to find out what we're up against. But I think that we need to form a group here that to help combat what's going on there. I mean, we need to take action, we have to be unified. And I think it's gonna take a bunch of us to do that. I don't think that we can wait. I think this is urgent. And I think we need to figure out something fairly quickly on how to combat this. And I'd be willing to meet with anybody, and if anyone else wants to, let's get this going.
We're going to try to do that on Tuesday.
Yep. Thank you. Yes.
Can't we make our own signs to counter some of these other signs?
Freedom of speech.
Absolutely. I'm sorry.
So Tim Lang, State Representative Tim Lang, and I'm also running for Senate. And the reason I want to talk is because I had a conversation with Kevin a little bit ago relative to the original, I forgot, it was Friends of Gunstock, and then later it turned into Citizens for Belknap, 2 packs there, whatever the first one was, I'm not sure, because it only was legally formed. But Kevin specifically asked me about my interactions with those 2 organizations and whether or not I've had any contact with them or had any interactions with them in organization, in donations, or anything else. And I told Kevin outright, I'd stand here and say absolutely not. That regardless of what you might have heard, I have not had a single conversation with the members of the organizations and the leaderships of that organization. I'm honest when I say I had a difference of opinion with the delegation about how gun stock should be used. Bob asked me to co-sponsor the original change commission to be elected. Kevin, give me 1 second. So Bob asked me to co-sponsor that, and I agreed to do that. I will say I don't support Bob's letters that he's writing. He's taking it way too personal at this point, and he's probably moved to some irrational statements. But I wanted to be clear, because Kevin made the comment about, Tim, they endorsed you. And I didn't even know that until he made that comment for the first time, because I haven't talked to these people, I haven't had a conversation with these people. In every one of the things that Representative Terry talked about, and we stand here and said, you're an extremist, I voted with him on every single one of those issues. On one of the bills he talked about, 1606, which was the data privacy, where I said the state government can no longer collect your private data without your permission. That was my bill. I pushed that through. We talked about Tom Sherman a little while ago and about masks. I debated Tom Sherman on WMUR because last year I put in House Bill 220, which said the state cannot mandate that you get a vaccine to enter a public building. That was my bill. So when we talk about extremists, I'm right there with you. We had a disagreement on gun stuff. That was the disagreement. I did not join the other side to do that. Bob asked me, Bob and I have been friends, I've been in the House for 3 terms, he's helped me get some bills through, I've helped him get some bills through, including tax reduction bills and those kind of things. So I just want to make it clear that because of the comment that Kevin made about watch out who they endorse, and he told me that they endorsed me, I knew nothing about it, right? I haven't talked to them, I didn't organize with them, I didn't help them with their PAC. I just want to be crystal clear on that, right? I disagreed on the issue with gun stock, and that was it.
No, thank you. Considering my name was brought up at least 10 times, could I address that?
Briefly.
Complete and total BS. I've been privy to emails that went to certain representatives from Gary Kaidash, from Brian Gallagher. I've been privy. In those emails, they explicitly talk about Mr. Lang and that he's with us 100% of the time. He's inside the group. This is something, have you ever in a year, has anybody seen Tim Lang at one of these meetings besides tonight?
Okay. Okay.
So
let's
when I say you have to be careful, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Let's move on. What I'd like to say is a couple of things about thank Jane for speaking about this issue. There's going to be a lot more talk about this in the coming weeks. We are going to be addressing it from the executive committee of this august body. The chairman of this newly formed PAC is a registered Democrat from Alton. The treasurer is supposedly a registered Republican who was formerly a commissioner of the Gunstock Area Commission, who resigned before we could discover that in fact he had participated as a commissioner for a long period of time after he was no longer eligible because he ceased to be a property owner in Belknap County and didn't tell the commission or the delegation about it to create a vacancy. So he should have been out of office months before, many months before he resigned. He is now the treasurer of this PAC. You can bet your life that this is there's a lot of so-called dark money involved, whether it's George Soros or some local people that are involved. Ultimately, the problem is going to be is that before the primaries, there's going to be a very tight time frame before we can see their financial reporting. So we're not going to be able to really expose where the dark money is coming from. But I can assure you, if you want to ask some of us where we think the dark money is coming from, you can see us after the meeting and we'll tell you about that. So let me talk to you about money and about campaign money. I've said this many times before, and I am, because I'm chair of this committee, I get to serve on the executive board of the New Hampshire GOP, NHGOP. But I am clearly an apostate from the NHGOP's perspective. One of the things that I've always said is that I've repeated from one of California's old politicos that money is the mother's milk of politics. We all need money to run. We need money to, whether it's signs or mailings or whatever, it takes money to run for office. So if the other side is pouring money in, and we have to gather money ourselves. There are ways to, if you have the financial ability or you're willing to maybe skimp a little bit on some other things and send some money into the political arena. My suggestion is, rather than giving it to an organization where the leadership of the organization takes 10% off the top as a commission, only 10% off the top, right? Plus administrative costs. And then, what comes in as a big waterfall into the organization, and what comes out the end to some favored candidates is a couple little dribbles here and there. My suggestion is be very careful about where you put your money. The easiest thing to do is to give your money directly to the campaign of the candidate or candidates you support. That's one thing. I'm going to have available, and I'll send around these little green sheets. There is a PAC, a registered political action committee, not newly formed, that's been around now for a couple of election cycles, called the Cheswell Political Action Committee. And in the last election cycle, it's dedicated to supporting liberty-loving, fiscally conservative, basically Republicans, because you don't find those in the Democrat Party. So this has a lot of details about what the Cheswell PAC stands for and how to make contributions. In the last election cycle, they participated in 19 races, 19 state rep races, of which 17 of their candidates won, and a number of those were flips from blue to red. Okay, I'm sorry, they identified 19 of 20, one candidate lost by 3% to an incumbent. 16 of the 19 resulted in flips from Democrat to Republican representation, and 3 were holds. I will tell you, I'm on the board of the Cheswell PAC. We have no employees. We don't pay any commissions. The only administrative expense we have is to pay for a P.O. box in Tilton. That's it. That's our administrative expenses. I ran this stuff off myself. I don't get reimbursed for this. I don't ask to be reimbursed for this. The Cheswell PAC is a great way if you want to support conservative, liberty-loving, and the people who agree with these principles I suggest, and Don, would you just sort of start passing these around? Take one of these. It's got the website on the back. It's got the website where you can contact them. You can donate online, or you can send a check to that famous P.O. box in Tilton, for which we pay a lot of money.
Mr. Chairman, we have representatives sitting in this meeting tonight who are going to be who are being primaried by the very kinds of people that we are talking about tonight, and we're going to, if I might say so, we're going to let you know who those candidates are and how you can contribute to them prior to the September primary, so that people like Paul Terry and Dawn Johnson and Greg Huff are able to go through to the general election. Barbara Comtois included. She's in my district, and we have a person who is going to try to oust at least one of us. So we'll let you know how you can contribute directly to our campaigns and other ways that you can support primary challenge good representatives who are in your districts.
You know, we've got a very solid, we're known in the state political realm. Belknap County is known as the most conservative political county of the 10 counties. Our delegation is all Republicans, most of whom vote as Republicans, but not all. But we have a very, very strong, and some of those who don't vote as Republicans have taken themselves out of this political race this season, this election cycle. So we have a chance to actually increase the conservative nature of the Belknap County delegation. Dawn Johnson has an event coming up on July 30th or 31st? July 31st, and she will be sending some stuff around about a campaign event for that, right?
Yeah. So this event is going to be held at, I always mess up the name because I want to call it the old name, High Octane Saloon. He has offered to
The Broken Spoke?
the old Broken Spoke.
Right.
He has offered to host this event for us. It is going to be for myself, Erica, stand up. She's running with me, and Richard Littlefield. Where'd he go?
In the back.
So the three of us will be hosting this event. It's going to be a meet and greet, and it's going to be a cornhole tournament. Stay tuned for more details. We're just in the beginning stages of getting this. We're hoping to have everything done and out by the end of the week or the end of the weekend. So stay tuned.
There's a lot of Priscilla.
People can also donate directly to the Belknap County Republican Committee and give any donations, check or cash or whatever, to Dave Strang, the treasurer.
Correct. Correct. Now, if you've been to these meetings, you know we've had a lot of different speakers, a lot of political speakers, and we'll continue to have a lot. So next month we're going to have Lily Tang Williams, who's running in CD2. I think there's one town that might be in CD2, but I'm not positive. And we're also going to have Greg Moore from Americans for Prosperity to talk about what they do. We've had in the CD1 race, we're now that the boundaries of the congressional boundaries have been set. We are still in CD1. We have had in the past, as speakers here, the three leading, what I consider to be the leading candidates in CD1. We've had Caroline Levitt, Matt Mowers, and Tim Baxter. I've had meet and greets for two of them. The third one is going to be on the 30th. Many of you may have received the email earlier today in which the banner said, the flyer said that the event is on the 30th, which it is, but the reference in the email said the 20th. Dr. Strang, I should have you proof all my stuff before I send it out. Sorry about that. So, or anybody could,
Many are physician, details matter.
Details matter.
We hope so.
Well, not all doctors.
Details matter. So, in any event, so we've had and we continue to get, we'll get requests. We'll try to the Granite Grok has a series of gauntlets that they hold. Is that what they call them? Gauntlets. Grok gauntlets, where they invite candidates to appear before a group of regular writers to the Granite Rock, and they, make their pitch, why they should be elected, and they get asked questions. So we have those. We have some that are held here in Belknap County, some are held in the southern part of the state, wherever there's enough groksters around to give people a hard time and put them on, on the hot spots. So, and then as a result of those interviews, I'm assuming that the grok comes out with they're videoed, and the grok comes out with some commentary about how well the people did. Skip.
Once we have interviewed all the candidates for a particular race, each one of those candidates' 2-hour grilling will be put up on Granite Rock. So when we're done with all the governor candidates, those will go up, CD1, CD2, Senate. So this is something new for us. Generally, we've done it just so that we're going to give an endorsement, and you folks know we give out very few endorsements officially from Granite Cross. But this is going to allow you to see what all of these candidates have to say, where they think they are on the political spectrum, what is their political foundation, current events, and all of that. We want you to be able to decide for yourselves. And if you have questions, as we have another one tomorrow with Thad, send it to me. Send us questions either to editor@graniterock.com or skip@graniterock.com. I'll make sure we ask.
I would like to just to take a personal note. Representative Mike Sylvia, who's the chair of the Belknap delegation, and I seem to have been the lightning rods to attract a lot of the static and the flack. As they do say, as the saying goes, when you're getting flack, it means you're over the target. So there is a term that is used by people on the left as a pejorative to refer to some of our people as free staters. Free staters, right? And Representative Sylvia and I have been referred to, even in the Pravda on the Lake, in the letters column, many times by some of these people as free staters. I would like to say, for the record, while I have been to some Free State Project events, I am not a member of the Free State Project, nor have I ever been a member of the Free State Project. But if you go onto their website and you look at their mission and look at their principles, there's a lot of good stuff on there. There's a lot of stuff that is consistent with good, sound, conservative, fiscally conservative Republican values. But I'm not a member of the Free State Project. I am a low, I believe that what Meldon Thompson, our former governor, our late governor, said, low taxes are the result of low spending. And that's the philosophy that I've tried to use in my 2 terms in the State House and on the delegation. I'm also a Second Amendment guy, and I've been, now John Burt, who was Mr. Second Amendment in the House, has decided to retire, and hopefully if I go back, I will get to take up the mantle of the Second Amendment in the House. I tried to get some things, the firearms preemption bill strengthened, the firearms preemption law strengthened, and that didn't work. But if you want to be really scary, consider this. 2 weeks ago, I got certified as an NRA pistol instructor. So watch yourself. So in any event.
Mr. Chairman, the article to which Representative Cormier, when I see IER, my French comes in. Hey, Cormier. Anyway, so the article she mentioned, the hit piece that was written in the New Hampshire Business Review, my name appeared in that article as well as being somebody who is in favor of seceding from the Union. Now, for the record, I have never gone on the record, nor do I believe that New Hampshire should secede from the Union. Nevertheless, I have been charged with being a secessionist and a seditionist, and according to Representative Brody Deshays, who spoke on the House floor about the CACR that pertained to this matter, any of us who were sympathetic to allowing the citizens of New Hampshire to have a free and open debate, in other words, respecting you folks, actually promoting democracy and also better understanding of our Republican form of government, that would make us secessionists. So there's a lot of just real serious garbage out there. But I now understand why I was seated in the third to the last row in the 400-member House. The apostate, Representative Silber, who is our distinguished chair, is in the last row in the seat next to a Democrat. Now, I'm telling you, this is no coincidence. And then in the second row is Representative Sylvia. And before I even cast one vote, I was put in the third row from the back, no doubt due to guilt by association with Representatives Sylvia and Silver, because I come from Belknap County. I might point out as well that just off to the left, the fourth row from the back, across the aisle, where I'm able to see how he votes on every issue, is Representative Lang. So if you want to find the Belknap, and Dawn Johnson, and Glenn Alden, if you want to find the Belknap County representatives, coincidentally, somehow, we're all kind of in the back.
The tradition has been for many years, because the Speaker of the House controls your seats, gives you your seat assignments. And the back row and the back area has always been called Murderer's Row. And so if you get one of those $9 license plates that the state, that shows you're a House a representative or whatever, and you see the numbers on there, the first number, 1, 2, 3, 4, is the section, and then there's the seat number. So I'm 3-115. I'm the center section, the very last one. So I'm sitting next to a Democrat, and I don't know how that happened, and I said to him, "Who in your delegation did you piss off to get yourself back seated here?" And he said, "I don't know, but they had me sit here." So Representative Terry, give us an update on the website.
Oh, well, I hesitate to suggest once again that, to use the analogy, we're on the 1 yard line because of what happened to the Parents' Rights Bill. But fortunately, we don't have any of the defecting Republicans who will have anything to do with this, nor does the governor have anything to do with this. So I am going to use the analogy that we're on the 1 yard line. Within the next week, the Belknap County Republican Committee website will be up. It will be live. And Mr. Chairman, I believe you will send an email to everybody indicating that we're live, and invite everybody to visit the Belknap County Republican Committee website.
Keep in mind that every time when you click on a website,
yes,
that is taken into account by Google. And the more clicks that a website gets, the higher up on the search results you will get in Google.
So click and close, click and close, click and close, click and close.
Click many times. Are there any applications for general membership?
Yes.
We have a couple of we have some applications for general membership to be approved.
The executive committee recommends to the general members that Laura Bezich and Ryan O'Neill be received as general members of the Belknap County Republican Committee.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Any others? Good. Any other new business from the members of the committee, the executive board? No. Sorry?
Doug?
Doug wants to say something.
Doug?
Right here.
Just a quick, a week from tonight, Wednesday, is the next Gun Stock Commission meeting at 6 p.m. at Belknap County. We really could use a few friendly faces out in the crowd. You don't have to say anything, but it would be nice to have you come witness the goings on. I would also recommend a visit to the Gunstock website or Granite Rock. The minutes of our last meeting, which was on July 1st, has been giving a very thorough leaving alone by the local newspaper. I'm not really sure why, but there's 10 pages of stuff that is available to read. There's a lot of good information, if you're interested in some of the goings on and some of the things that Commissioner Strang alluded to with the stay tuned. But that meeting is next week at Belknap County Complex, 6 p.m.
Was there somebody over here? Is that it?
No,
No.
Tom?
if I could. I have no primary, but I have seen what's coming out against me. And thankfully for me, some people in the Democrat side do not like what's being done. So I got a little privy of what is to come with no primary. They want us out. Even someone like me who draws no attention, I have been shown where I will be hit in the general election. I came to New Hampshire to retire. My wife, she came here as a youngster in the camps. I was backpacking. I was invited to go to a park fest. I came from Connecticut.
Whoa.
You see where it's going? I came from Connecticut. Oh, will you pledge to come to New Hampshire to protect life, liberty, and property? Who would not sign that? Maybe that's how they tricked the communists in, but I signed it.
Ooh.
I checked. I don't recall, but that will be brought up. And when I did check, they go, yeah, you signed it in 07 when you visited for the first time. I go, it wasn't stupid because I do, as Norm says, believe in protecting your life, liberty, and property, and less government. That will become out that I am one of those radical, crazy free staters, along with anti-police, anti-cop. I don't know, I was a first responder for 44 years. I worked at triage. I worked with all of them. And to this day, I can't see why I would not support a fire, EMS, or the law enforcement. What I'm asking you, you have friends, reach out to them. I have a good core of people who go door knocking. It looks like we need to counter this even in Center Harbor, New Hampton. I didn't need a lot last time, but hearing what we heard tonight, if you know anybody from Center Harbor, I'm asking you, like I did 2 years ago, research the candidates. I have a 2-year record. Not as great as 100%. I voted for the people in my town, and some of them convinced me otherwise. So I only got a 97.4. So 2 bills I gave to the town because that's who I represent. So go on my record, find out who the Democrats are putting up. What I need is help if you know anybody from those 2 towns. Thank you.
One of the things that next month we're going to have sign-up sheets. We're going to need volunteers to do sign holding at the polls on primary day. So for every town and all the different wards in Laconia, we're going to need sign holders, sign waivers to help to cover really from the time they open till the time they close. I will tell you just a little vignette, a final vignette about the Senator or Representative Plauché. Representative Plauché generally rides to and from sessions with me and Representative Bean, and so we generally talk a little bit of politics, a lot of trash talk, anyhow. But I can tell you that Representative Bean and I tend to beat up on Representative Plauché and try to get him to vote the right way, and sometimes he does, and sometimes maybe he'll go off a little bit. But everybody's got their opinions, and sometimes even Representative Bean and I sometimes differ, but we're generally pretty close. We're in the 90%. We're in above 90%. We're all in this together. So that being said, next month, second Wednesday of the month, it's going to be our last meeting before the primaries. We're going to be looking for people to help sign up, to hold signs, to wave signs at the polls. We're going to have a couple of good speakers. We may have some additional speakers. It depends on who asks to come in, and if we have time to do that. So we got a lot of primaries. I've got the list here of the primaries and who the candidates are. Anybody wants to look at that? We've got some people that are going to stick around here. Jade Cormier is still in the back. We've got a lot of reps here. We got a bunch of people from the Gunstock Commission here. We got a lot of people that you can talk to and ask. There is nothing you can ask that is inappropriate, and we'll try to give you an answer. Don, last words.
Yeah, I think we should be asking the Democrats what part of life, liberty, and property they disagree with.
Right.
And ask them to spell it out.
Sherman, the guy who's running for governor against whoever our candidate is advocating a statewide income tax.
Yeah.
Do you need to know anything more about it?
Norm, we have an important deadline coming up on July the 15th. If you're not running for, I asked this at the House Shirtlift barbecue on July 4th. I asked who's running for office. Some people raised their hands. We all got a chance to speak. But then I got up and I said, by the way, how many of you are not running for office? It was a trap. I had a whole bunch of people raise their hands and I said, we need you as election inspectors. The Democrats have a full slate of election inspectors at the polls. We still don't have a full slate. This is what really helped in Virginia. The Republicans got a full slate of election inspectors. If you're not running for office, would you please be willing to be an election inspector? You have to sign up by July 15th, and the guy to do this with is Joe Gagnon of the NHGOP and the National GOP. If you are willing to do this, give me your name and your email and phone number, and I will put you in touch with Joe Gagnon. Remember, we've got less than 48 hours, and then it's too late to sign up for election inspector.
What is
Please
it?
do this.
The inspectors are there to you're inside the rail, you're observing the whole check-in process, you're observing the opening of the boxes, the closing of the scanners, the opening of the scanners. You're there to put eyes on the ground to make sure that the elections are conducted in the proper way.
Yes.
That's the purpose of that.
On that note, just so Laconia, so everybody knows, Laconia has 6 wards. They are open from 7 to 7. And after the last election, if I remember correctly, there were several ballots that got left in the machines that came out months later.
John, Laconia now has 5 wards. Ward 2 is now
It's still Laconia. Ward 2 is still Laconia.
Yeah,
So we have 5, we have 6 wards, so please, anybody you know, we really need to make sure we have somebody at all 6 wards.
One caveat to that, if you signed up to run as a delegate, remember delegates help to elect state committee members, your name will be on the ballot, and therefore you cannot serve as an election inspector.
Correct. You're running for office.
You can in the general election, but not
in the primary.
So please.
Sign up and, as they say in Chicago, vote early and often.
Okay.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Crop TV.